Financial planning goes beyond investments. It's all about owning a clear path to the future with a well-thought-out combination of investments and insured outcomes. It's a process that can lead to true long-term financial independence. If you live in Chandler, work with one of the best advisors in Arizona, Steve Jurich with IQ Wealth Management in Scottsdale. Steve will take the time to make sure you get the right plan right from the start. Let's listen in on Steve's popular daily radio show, Mastering Money on Money Radio. At any point throughout, you can visit our website by clicking the little circle with the I in the top right corner.
You'll hear this financial term often on the radio and at steak dinner financial seminars. The Stretch IRA. Now, at the steak dinner, the PowerPoint slides and an adept presenter can make a Stretch IRA sound like a windfall of some sort, a miracle of modern financial science. But there are realities that most people are not aware of. The fact is that an IRA owner has the right to name whoever they wish to be the beneficiary of their retirement account. However, because Congress did not want to allow IRAs and other retirement accounts to continue indefinitely, they made provisions imposing rules on beneficiaries after the original IRA owner passes away. The required minimum distributions, also known as RMDs, must still be taken by the beneficiary, forcing the account to be liquidated over time. How do you choose the right beneficiaries for your IRA? Do you choose your spouse or do you choose a trust? Significant problems can arise in the case of trust named as the beneficiary of an IRA unless proper wording is contained in the trust, and as long as there are no non-person beneficiaries named in the trust. CPAs remind us that Treasury regulations do allow trust in certain circumstances to be treated as designated beneficiaries, eligible to stretch post-death RMDs over life expectancy by looking through the named trust to the underlying beneficiaries and using their life expectancies instead. The caveat, though, is that qualifying for see-through trust treatment requires the trust to be drafted properly, consider crucial decisions like whether to be structured as a conduit or accumulation trust, and at best may still entail the trade-off of less favorable income tax treatment to achieve other financial and estate planning goals. And what about the stretch itself? Is it part of the tax code? Is it just privilege, courtesy extended by an IRA custodian that the kids can just blow up after you die? Or is it an instrument that has some legal muscle and teeth? Let's talk about it. Certified income specialist Steve Jur-itch spends his professional time modeling income and growth portfolios for retiring engineers, healthcare professionals, teachers, business owners, technicians, attorneys, and other professionals. Steve is the originator of the trademarked Safer Buckets system and is a genuine annuity authority. Steve is a certified annuity specialist and author of the best-selling book Smart is the New Rich. His firm, IQ Wealth Advisory, LLC in Scottsdale, is a registered investment advisor and fiduciary with asset custodian Fidelity Institutional. Steve's team includes certified financial planner Murray Titterington, CPA Todd Simmons, and CPA Nick Stefaniak, who holds a master's degree in taxation. His comments have been seen on Bloomberg, MarketWatch, and CNBC.com. Steve, how you doing today?
Doc, doing just great today. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, earlier today on Mastering Money, we discussed the Stretch IRA and some things that I would imagine that many consumers just aren't aware of.
Right.
Let's review those. And first of all, is the Stretch indeed part of the tax code?
That's a great question. I think I can't say it any better. In hearing your opening comments, I looked over here and I've got some comments by CPA Ed Slott, who's considered one of the premier experts on stretch IRAs, IRAs in general. He says, here's the good news. The Congress can't take it out of the tax code because it doesn't exist in the tax code. It's just a name everybody's made up, the Stretch IRA. Some companies call it multi-generational IRA, and it's really just the ability, which is in the tax code, for a beneficiary, say a 40-year-old or even a 1-year-old, to inherit an IRA, but instead of getting taxed on it all at once, they can take distributions over their life expectancy, only having to take a minimum amount each year in an inherited IRA. So that's where the term stretch comes from. They could stretch it or extend distributions over their lives to make it last a long time. So really, Doc, it's a courtesy, a privilege. It's not something with its own muscle and teeth. In order to get that, you need another document.
Okay. But we hear about it all the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and like you said, I think it's abused at some of these steak dinner seminars. I don't know about you. I get about anywhere from 2 to 5 per month at my house, inviting me out to a steak dinner, of course, and to be another financial advisor. They all talk about the same things, of course, and many of them can make a stretch IRA look like, wow, you're turning your whole family into a bunch of millionaires. The reality is that the stretch can be blown up if it's not put together right, if it doesn't have a IRA custodian that allows or has a beneficiary designation restriction payout form. If they don't have that, all they're asking is a letter from somebody, from the person who owns the IRA now and is choosing his or her beneficiaries. And if all they're asking for from you is a letter that says, you know, I'd like you to pay this out this way over time when I die, and make sure that my kids take it out over their lifetimes, and then pass it on to their kids, and then those kids pass it on to their kids. And they will perform the task. Many insurance companies on annuities will perform that task. But if they aren't having you sign what is called a beneficiary designation with restricted payout for either a qualified or even a non-qualified annuity, you don't have any muscle or any teeth. What you thought you did was create control in your beneficiary payout stream. Instead, what happens is if the son or daughter that you were trying to protect from themselves suddenly says, you know, I'd like the cash, not this big old stretch. Well, you know, there are going to be taxes on that. Oh yeah, I don't really care about that. So here's this $300,000 they were supposed to stretch out. Hey, they don't mind walking away with $250,000 cash, and guess what? The IRA custodian or the insurance company will just hand them the money. They'll verify who they are, of course, and
Sure.
They won't just send a check on the phone conversation, but that's what will happen. That stretch needs to have that restricted payout form along with it. Otherwise, the IRA custodian has no legal instructions to keep the money, and they'll just hand it over.
All right, Steve, that's one idea, the stretch. But really, I think most common is that we see one spouse inheriting the IRA of another spouse.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, because what really are the options for a spouse who inherits an IRA?
All right. Well, Doc, when a spouse is named the primary beneficiary of an IRA, they have the following options after the holder's death. Of course, there's a lump sum distribution. They can just cash it out. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, they can establish their own beneficiary IRA account and eventually begin RMDs. Because of their spouse, they can begin it on their own age and not the age of the spouse that passed away. Now, they can choose to delete the entire balance before the end of the 5th year following the year of the IRA holder's death. Now, this is available if the IRA holder had not started RMDs, in other words, died before age 70 and a half, or the inherited IRA is a Roth IRA. Of course, there's no RMDs on Roth. No, they can roll the assets into their own IRA and name their own beneficiaries under spousal continuation rules. And the rollover is by far the most popular choice, because people really don't, most of the time, don't want to take that big tax hit. The plan perhaps has been all set up, and they are taking the income anyway or are enjoying those RMDs. In the case of an annuity with a joint income designation on the rider, you need to make the spouse the primary beneficiary. Otherwise, if you make the trust the beneficiary, you can nullify the continuation of the income under the rider. So if you have an annuity that is your IRA and you are expecting to take joint income from it, it's very much so you want to set up the beneficiary designation so that the spouse is the primary, and the trust, if you want to name a trust, should be the contingent beneficiary. And keep the two separate is the recommendation of many, many attorneys. Other attorneys like to sell you $5,000 trusts, and so their recommendation is put everybody in the trust.
I bet they do like to sell those trusts at that price.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Steve, you've been doing this for a long time, over 20 years now.
Yeah.
How have you seen it work out in real life with the Stretch?
Yeah, that is a great question, because this summer, as a matter of fact, we talked about it today, had a unique case where the owner of a fairly good-sized IRA had died, leaving his second wife as the primary beneficiary with his trust as the secondary beneficiary, just as we just mentioned, and the proper pass-through language in the trust. So far, so good. His first wife had died. He had 4 kids with the first wife and inherited 4 grown-up kids when he married his second wife. He had 2 ING variable annuities and 1 Jackson variable annuity, totaling about $650,000 plus. And he had 3 REITs that had gone illiquid, sitting at Sterling Trust. And, these REITs tend to go illiquid.
Right. We've talked about that in the past.
Yeah, exactly. The trust names all 8 kids, 4 and 4, as equal beneficiaries. He had set up both the annuities and the REITs as Stretch IRAs, intending that nobody got a cash payout. He was intending that everybody just got their monthly stipend. He set up his second wife, of course, was in control. She was the oldest of all the beneficiaries, so all of the R&Ds from then on were going to be figured off of her age. Now, wife number 2 dies. Deceased dad's 4 kids are all doing well financially, all over 55 years old, and have no issues with the Stretch. They're fine. They don't mind keeping it. Mm-hmm. We were able to find an annuity carrier who would accept a full transfer of the 3 ING annuities in the proper amounts of those 4, divided into 8 new annuities is what we thought we were going to do, all with income riders to handle withdrawals for RMDs, and even more so that the beneficiaries could get more than just the RMDs. The second wife's 4 kids were not doing so well. Some were in their 40s, 2 were unemployed, and another on disability and food stamps. They all wanted cash outs instead of keeping the terms of the Stretch. We thought, well, are they going to be able to get it? Well, ING and Jackson receiving a note from the 2 trustees, which were now the oldest sons of each 4 and 4 sets of kids, and they cut him a check. Dad would probably turn over in his grave had he seen that.
To learn more about the process that can lead to true long-term financial independence, or to hear the rest of this radio show, click the link and visit the IQ Wealth Management website. If you want to retire and stay retired with the right strategy for you, take a few seconds and click the link on the screen now.